Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we are going to be creating an Andy Warhol inspired pop art painting. So we'll start it today and then we will finish it next week. So the first thing you're going to need to do is fold your paper into fourths. And I know you guys in first grade are talking about fourths. So if we fold it one time and even it up, so even up your edges, then this is halves. So you can see I've got 1/2 and 2/2. Okay, so I've got it folded in half, and then I'm going to fold that in half again to create fourths. So it's kind of hard to see on my paper, but it's got 4 sections. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your hand. My hand is kind of big, so I have a helper, and she's going to come over here in a minute. But you're going to take your hand and you're going to trace it in all 4 sections. So you should have one hand here, one hand here, one hand here, one hand here. So, Kaylee, you can come over here and say hi. So this is Kaylee. She's in 4th grade. She's going to help us. All right, so just place your hand right there. Do your left hand. Okay. So your hands, she's in 4th grade, like I said, your hand should fit right in there very neatly. And you are just going to trace it as neatly as you can. If you want someone in your group to trace for you, and you can trace theirs, that would be fine. Okay, so there's one hand. Now we're going to just do this on all 4 spaces. So we're tracing here, and you're going to trace the same hand, and just press the pencil up to your fingers so that you get the whole thing traced. And it looks good like that. All right, I'm going to do the next 2 off camera and then I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so now I have a hand in all 4 of my sections. And one thing you might want to do is take your pencil and draw right on top of your folded lines. So there's the middle. And here is the middle of that. So I have my 4 equal sections, my fourths. And what we're going to do next is we are going to pick 8 different colors. And we have 4 hands and 4 backgrounds. We're going to paint the background one color and the hand a contrasting color. And then this background a different color and this hand a contrasting color. In this background a different color and this hand a contrasting color. So you should have 8 different colors on your paper. So I have my paint here. And I'm going to dip my paintbrush in my cup of water to wet my brush. And you're going to have to be kind of careful. I would paint your hands first. So I'm just going to pick 4 colors. If your paint is dirty, y'all have to clean it off. So that orange was kind of brown. So I'm cleaning it off. Now I'm going to rinse my brush out. And remember, when we rinse our brush out, we're going to wipe it on the edge so that there's not a lot of water dripping. We're not going to hit it. We don't want to do that. We just want to wipe it on the edge. Okay? So your brush does need to be wet, but not soaking wet. So now we're going to paint. You got to be real careful not to get your fingers too fat. And paint around my fingers. Oh, y'all can't even see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to paint around my fingers, being very careful not to get them too fat. If you hold your brush down really close to the bristles, it will help you control it better. If you hold your brush up here, it's harder to control it. But if you hold it down here by the bristles, it's easier to control it. So now I'm going to, after I paint the outline, I am going to paint the inside of my hand. Now, if you do not finish all of this today, that is okay. We will finish these next week, and we have a really fun part that we're going to do next week, and I think you're really going to love it. Okay, so now I'm going to think about orange, and what is a contrasting color to orange? So I'm going to think about, I think I'm going to add like this purplish color, because purple and orange are pretty contrasting. And again, I'm going to hold my brush down here really close to the bristles so that I can control it. And I'm going to paint on all of my outlines. Now, y'all will have a messy mat. I may get some paint on the table on accident, but y'all will have a messy mat. Be sure your paper is on your messy mat. And remember, this is in the style of Andy Warhol. So I'm outlining all of my fingers, and that's going to help me paint this neater and not messy. Outlining all of my fingers in my hand, and I'm going to outline my pencil lines that I drew. And now I'm going to paint in all of these spaces using that same color. So each section, remember your paper has fourths, so each fourth will have two colors in it. It will have a background color and it will have the color that you paint your hand. And remember, you guys will be using a messy mat. Oops, I got it on the table, but you should be using a messy mat. So that is my first section. Now I'm going to paint the other four the same way, but I'm going to choose different colors. So this one I may do yellow and blue and red and green. So you're gonna pick which color you want for the background and which color you want for your hand and paint them. I'm going to show you what this looks like when I'm finished. Okay guys, I finished my Andy Warhol pop art hands. If you notice, the colors are very contrasting. One way I can tell contrasting colors is if I look up to the color wheel. Colors that are not next to each other on the color wheel are going to contrast more. So the further away they are on the color wheel, the more contrasting they'll be. So red and green are opposite on the color wheel, which means they're very contrasting. Blue and yellow have green in between them, and so they're not right next to each other, so they're pretty contrasting. The only color you should not use this week is black. So be sure that you're using bright colors from the rainbow. Don't use any black. We're going to use some black next week to make everything pop, like pop art. Have fun!